Learn how to create game environments in Unreal Engine. If you're a beginner and want to create a level for your game, then this video is for you. I will take you step by step until you create an environment from scratch in Unreal Engine 5. Creating game environments can be a daunting task. Here I will show you my workflow from scratch to create a small scene for games. You will learn all the tricks and foundation to create believable game environments. Learn how to create modular parts, how to add more life to our scene by blending objects, and apply art fundamentals like color theory and composition until you have a really nice environment for your game. If you want to support the work we do, make sure to check our website to access to premium and free tutorials, project files, and our Unreal Marketplace products. And if you want to learn even more, consider becoming a member on our channel to access all our tutorials library. So let's start creating our environment. The first thing we will do is to create a new level. So I will go to File, New Level, and then I will choose the basic one here. I don't really need any other one. So we will hit on Create, and we will have just a big cube here that we can use to put our ground. So let's start grabbing some assets. And to do that, I'm just going here to Control Space, and then I will go add to Quixel content. Okay, here you will be able to download any asset you want. You just need to click here, download, and you're done. Okay, and there are other ways to do it, and I already download a bunch of files. You can feel free to download any asset you want. In my case, I already have some here. As you can see, I have like my minecart. You can just search for them, like just typing mine. You will have a lot of assets related to mine, such as materials, props, and everything. In my case, I already download them, so you don't need to watch me download them again. And let's drag some rocks. So it's very easy. I can just drag this here, okay? I will put my screen here so you can take a look at what's going on. And I will make this a little bit bigger. Let's drag this out, just like this. All right, so just like this, I can just scroll down and try to get a nice rock that I can use for our environment. For example, we can use this one. So we will just drag this like this. Okay, and there you go. Now we have our rock here, and it's working. Okay, so we can do the same here by dragging different rocks. For example, we can drag this one, just like this, okay? And different rocks will have different sizes, okay? So the first thing I want to do is to lay down my environment. So I will start with some bigger rocks here. For example, something like this. We can just put it here, just like that. Let's take a look at other rocks we may have here in the content browser. Okay, so maybe this one. Okay, let's download the nanite one. And if it's not ready, I will put it here, and you will see that it will be loading. Okay, and if I don't have it, it will just download automatically, and we will have something to play with. So let's start by dragging other meshes here, such as this one. Okay, so let's move this thing here. Let's first lay down the foundation of our rock environment, and maybe we want to use another type of rock here. So we can use this one for sure. Okay, so we can just scale this by pressing R. Let me put this here so it doesn't block the way. So I will just scale this just like this, and I will move this around, and I will just basically drag until I create the walls of my environment. Okay, if you want to make your environments look more natural, make sure you disable this so that when you duplicate, all the values will not be snapped. So you will be able to just modify anything you want, and the values will be not snap here, so it will feel more natural. And I will just use the same meshes here to block this environment. I will do a very small one. Okay, just like this, and I can just rotate this around, just like this, until we block our environment. Let's take a look at the bridge to see what we can do. For example, we could use something like this. Let's drag the nanite. We only have the high quality. It's okay, we can just drag this one here. And we can just put it here, just like this. Okay, and you notice that this doesn't match. So let's try to use the same rocks for this one. And the good thing is that you may think, hey, this is the same rock, but no, it's not. If I rotate this, every side of the rock will be different, and I can just scale it like this. I can just put this one here and put it just like this, so I can have different rock formations. Now, if I play from here, I don't have a really good idea of how big this cave is. Okay, so what I will do, let me delete this first because I don't want them. You don't look really nice on my thing now. I will just go to content browser, add feature or content tag, and I will just create a third person. Okay, so just like that, add project, and we will have the files that come with a third person character. Okay, last thing, I want to save my map like rock map, something like this. Okay, and we will go to the world settings and put the third person game mode. Right click, play from here, and there you go. Now, you notice that my rocks are a little bit small. So what I will do is basically scale them. Okay, and just one by one, just like this, just like that. Okay, there you go. Scale them a little bit. Right, and maybe this one not fitting really well. Let's delete it, and we can always go here and rotate this around. Okay, and looks like this size is nice. It's good enough. So what we can do now is to move these meshes just like this. Okay, and we can start creating a kind of roof. So we can just go here, rotate them, scale them up just like this. Okay, and just by doing that, we will have the boundaries of our cave. We can do the same here. We can do this, just rotate here by holding Alt, click, and just put them here. Okay, and let's just say this will be the entrance. So we will put something like this. Okay, let's just put something like this, and we will open this up just like this. Okay, great. So now when we play our game, like we start from here and we have, we have something going on. It's really small. So what I will do is to go here and move them just like this. Okay, and of course I will scale this up, and I will scale this up too. Okay, the idea is to have the boundaries of your environment first. Let's just use this asset, and as we progress we will add more and more assets. So let's just go here, and then we can rotate this, and let's just scale this up. Okay, there you go. Let's play again. So let's play from here, and okay, this is working nicer. So the next thing I want to do is to make the roof for my cave. So in order to close our cave, we just need to duplicate these things. So we're going to rotate this, and we will make it super big, just like this. Okay, and we will start from big to small. Okay, so here I will start putting like this. Okay, and the idea is to block the light that comes from the top. This is very typical to do when you're blocking out cave. You want to first block out the boundaries of your cave. So first we start with blocking, the corners. Now we will duplicate this and put this here, and then you can put this here, and just like that we can just rotate this, put it like this. Okay, something like that. And I wanted to play and see if I feel a little bit claustrophobic, and I do a little bit. So I will just go here and rotate this like this, just so the roof is not like, hey, this is like a cube. Now this looks much better for me. So what I will do is to do the same here. I will rotate this around here, and actually, if you want to make more variations, make sure you go to details here. And in the scale, I'm going to open this log up, and then I will multiply by pressing the asterisk -1, just like that. And with that, we have another version of a rock. Okay, so we can just come here and scale it, and it will mirror all the values. You can see how far I can go with just one. It's amazing. So I will just rotate again and put it around here. Just play with it. The idea is to have fun. So don't be too picky. It's only art. Not No one will die in this process. Okay. So I noticed that this thing can be a little bit bigger. So let's move it around. Okay, just like this. And we will also make this bigger. Okay, and look what I found here is our little asset that we just import. Let's just delete it. We don't need you for now. Just drag here. Start big. Start big. Forget about this. The small ones we put at the beginning. Let's just start big and block out as fast as we can, so we can have an idea of how big our cave will be. Let's go here, and then let's just, I don't know, multiply by 1.5. Okay. You can also duplicate like this. You can rotate and put it like this. Make sure that your forms look right. They should be blending really nicely, actually. Just by using megascans, all the details from Nanite will make your thing shine. So let's just rotate this around. Bear with me for a moment. It's just part of the process, okay? So good. So let's just put something like this here, and this one we will just move this around. Okay. Oh, look at that. Now we have something's going on here. We have a big rock here. So what I want to do is to close this by just rotating this around. Okay, just diagonally, I will just put this one here, and this one, let's close the cave by just rotating this. We can just put this area here, just like this. You don't need to worry about this part that it won't be shown. Just worry about the parts that you will be seeing in your game, okay? So just like this, we can just go back to this view and scale it like this, okay? And we can do the same here. Okay, and we can make it bigger, just like this, okay? And you can also rotate. Take a look at different shapes. I find that this one will work fine, okay? This is what you want to have when you have a hole here. You want to create an interesting silhouette that you can put here, for example, like this, okay? Something like this. This will be our focal point, guys. Do not forget about this. This will be the path, the main path that we will be creating for our cave. So be aware of that, okay? Last thing I need to do is to block this part. it will be very easy. I will just duplicate this and just put it here. There you go. And I can just go here and move it around. It really doesn't matter if I block some areas. If I put it like this, you will see that the light is coming through, and I don't want that. So I will just come here, and then I will go here like this, and I will move it around. Okay, so there is some light coming from here, which is okay, and some light coming from here and here, which I don't want. So I will just block this out, just like this. And this part, I'm going to block it again, just like this. I will just move this around. I want to make it very clean, okay? So this is our cave, and here we can also move this around like this. Make sure you don't have any hole here. You don't want to have the holes here. Yes, exactly. That's what you want. You only want to have like everything close, okay? Like this, and then here you can do something like this. Great. Now that we have this, let's play from here and look what happened. I cannot see anything, but if I take a look at here, I can see something. Okay, that's the power of global illumination. We are getting the light from here. The last thing I want to do to make our life a little bit easier is to put the sun here. So what I will do is go to my directional light here in my outliner, type directional light, and then we will just with Control L, we will be able to move it. And we will put the light just here. There you go. This is exactly what you want. And you can move this around if you want. It will increase the light. Okay, and there you go. Now we have our little cave. A little bit small, but enough for it will do the work for us. Okay, so let's play from here. Notice that everything is just flat and we lay down an environment. The next thing we need to do is to add more elements to our cave to make it look more interesting. So let's do that next. So let's add more assets to our environment. When creating an environment, it's very important that you have a focal point. In our case, this will be our focal point because it creates a really strong silhouette, such as this one, okay? And we can modify this silhouette in the future, but in any case, we want all our assets to work towards together, that this will be the main character in our scene, and everything will be secondary, okay? This is the first thing. Now, let me move the light a little bit, just like this, so I can have, yeah, maybe something like that, so I can have some interesting lighting here. Like that. Okay, there you go. So now that I have this, what I want to do is to go to my bridge and add some assets here. And what I have here, it's basically these ones, this large Nordic cliff. Let me take a look at how it looks like. If I put it here, you will see that it's loading. Okay, it will start by using the low resolution. Okay. Or sorry, I just download the high quality. Make sure you download the nanite if you want. You don't really need to have that. But if you go here to press nanite and just drag this out. Here it's my nanite asset. By pressing Alt2, I can check the wireframe. So what I will do is to scale this, just like this. And what I will do is to create some verticality, because everything looks really flat here. Like this part is like this, okay? And we want something like here and here and here and different eye level for our environment. So we will do the first one here. So this is how we will do it. You go to our bridge and create grab another mesh here, create this one, okay, just like this, and scale this up, okay, and you want to put it up, okay, and this one will be like this, okay, and we can just move it like this. You don't really need to worry about duplicating objects here. We will take a look at that later, but for now we can just go here and duplicate this one. Let me go to Alt 3. Okay, there you go, much better. Okay, and we can rotate this around. Okay, and then come back here and do the same thing here, but this time we will make it a little bit bigger. Okay, just like that. There you go. Okay, now we need something here to cover this area. We could use this. Let me see if there is a better one. Okay, we can use this ones here. I think it will work. So let's grab this again. I believe it's the same one we use. So we will just put it here. And just like that, we will cover the areas that are floating here, just like this, okay? We can put something like this, and we can even go here and multiply by -1 and drag this like this, and we can grab another one. If you are worried about the variation, you can just maybe come back here and then bam, now we have something here, okay, and we can do the same here. Okay, we will take a look at the colors later. Colors are really important, but we're gonna deal with them in the future. So just like this, we'll just come back here and then scale this up like this. And let's make sure that this is like rotating in an angle that it's pointing towards our environment. And it's working. Okay. This looks a little bit unnatural, so what I will do is to drag this here and just put it here. Just like this, okay? And I will rotate this and just rotate it like this so that it feels a little bit better. There you go. Okay, let's go with Alt 5 detail lining. Okay, and now what we can do actually, it's grab another one here. Let's grab like this one, for example. We already grabbed this one. Let's see if we have another one. This one is actually pretty good. We're not gonna use it. Maybe this one. Okay, let's try our luck here. Okay, so this will add a lot of detail to your environment. You want to put it, as you may have guessed, in the corner where our focal point is. Okay, so if we go here and we put it here, and then just make this one a little bit bigger, you will see that I'm adding more detail to my environment, just like that, okay? And by doing that, I can also come back here, rotate this, okay, and move this like here. And we can just move our light around. And also here, we can also make it like this, okay? We can also put it here, okay? Because why not? Where? Okay, and let's decrease the size of this one, okay? Like this. And what we will do is to put another asset here. Let's grab, for example, this one looks okay. Let's grab this one. Okay, so we will just put it here. And yeah, just like this, and we will rotate this until we get to the focal point here. Let's put this into local so we can duplicate easier. And you can see what's going on here is that this lining is creating an invisible line that it's guiding us towards our environment here. So let's just come back here, just like this, okay? And we can just rotate this too. There you go. Okay, beautiful. So now that you have this, we can just block this area. We can use the same assets we had here. Okay, we can just put it like this. Okay, or we can also grab this, and the idea is just to try and see how it would look like. You can be a little bit creative with your assets, and you know, have some interesting results. Not like this one. Just rotate this around and just play with this a little bit, just like that, okay? And then duplicate this one. Let's go back to our color mode. And here, what I will do is to, instead of putting it like this, I will rotate them. And I will make sure that everything is in an angle like this, okay? Just like that. And also this one. This one will be in an angle here. Okay, let me do the same here. Okay, and the last part will be like this, okay? Rotating your objects can really help your scene to look nicer. So I feel like this part, it's a little bit close to each other. So let's grab all of these assets and let's just move them here to see if we're missing something. And I think we don't. So let's just go back and we can just move something like this. Or we could Control G to make a group of it, and we can just put it anywhere we want. For example, like this here. We can play with this a little bit. Okay, this looks much better. Okay, let's just leave it like that, okay? One thing I want to do, it's put some elevation here. And we will do that by putting our typical asset here. Okay, and then we will duplicate this and we will rotate this around. Alt 3 to check the colors. Okay, just like that. You don't really want to put this like this, but you want to put this here. Okay, something like this. You can of course scale it up or down depending on what you want. Okay, and the beauty of this is that we can move around these things and play with our light to see how our environment will look. Okay, all right, beautiful. So the next thing I want to do is to play with the ground a little bit and a little bit of elevation here. So let's add some ground to our environment. We're just going to put some ground here, for example, like this one. And just put it here. And let's start big again. And we can just duplicate this one. And with Alt 3, I can take a look at how it's looking. So just like this, and I will just duplicate like this. Beautiful. And if you want more variation, remember you can always rotate in different directions. Now, this ground is really flat, and I don't really want that because in real life, grounds are not exactly like that. So what I will do is to maybe grab another asset. For example, this one, we can just drag it here. Okay, and it would load a little bit if it's the first time, especially if it's a nanite asset. Okay, it will just take a while. But the idea is that your ground is not entirely flat like this, okay? It will have some transition like this, just like this, okay? And you can notice, if you take a look at the reference here, you will see that the ground is not really flat, okay? You just have, like, you may have some flat areas, but you actually have some transitions here, or as it's ready. So it's like just some transitions here, and then the ground is flat. And you really want to capture that. So in order to do that, it's very easy. We're just going to rotate this a little bit. Okay. Just like that. Okay. There you go. Keep rotating this. Keep rotating this like this. Okay. And just by doing that, you have this transition that is much more natural than this one. Like, let me unhide this. You will see that everything is blending nicely. So what I will do is just do the same for this. Alt, drag this out, just like this. Drag this out like this. Okay. Let's take a look at, we don't really need to make it perfect. Okay. Some areas like this. And then we can just duplicate this one, put it here, and do the same with this one. And that's it. I don't think I will decorate this area too much. Another thing I can do is, maybe let's look for another ground. Let's see. Oh, okay, this one looks really nice. So we will just drag this. We will put it here. And just like this, we will have even more variation because we can rotate this around. Remember that rotating your objects will help you a lot to break the CG feeling. Nothing is entirely straight on real life, neither your environments should be. So just keep that in mind when doing this. You can always rotate around to play with different heights. Okay, like for example this one, you can just rotate it just a tiny bit, and just by doing that you are adding a lot more believability to your environment. Okay, now what I want to do now is to put some smaller assets. So let's drag this, for example, and I can just put it here. Okay, and I can just put it like this. Okay, let me go to my detail lining, and I can just, in the zigzag mode, we will be able to jump around our environment. For example, you can use this trick to make your environments look better. Start here, and then you go here, and then you go here, and then you go here. Okay, so let's create something interesting in each corner by adding assets. By adding some noise in these assets, we will be able to catch the eye's attention. So we can just grab this, for example, and we can just put it here. Okay, and if you want to put some lights, let's go to place, lights, and put a point light for now. We will just put it here momentarily. You don't want to use it like that, but for now this will help to take a look at our environment. And if you want to save this camera, just press Ctrl+1, and when I press 1 I will come back here to the one I save. Let's just say I want this shot, Ctrl+2. So when I move around, move back again, let's just move things around here while I have my camera, just like this. Okay, you can of course rotate, and remember to rotate in this axis too. Nothing is entirely straight in real life, and neither your objects should be. Just rotating them a little bit can go really far. Okay, so I can just do the same here and rotate this around just like that. Okay, just put this here, and then this one we could put it here. Okay, just so we can have some interesting lining going on. So what's happening here is that this area is full of light and shadow, and you want to have this in order to catch the eye. If this area is full of shadow, the detail won't be noticed, but this one has a lot of detail, so it's very important that you catch all these details by putting assets that have interesting forms like this one to catch some light and shadows for your environment. For example, here I can see a rim light going out here, which is great actually. Okay, let's remove this, and let's remove this to take a look at how it looks like. I don't really want that. Let's just put this like this, and this looks like a good first pass for our ground. Alright, so now that we have this, let's start adding other man-made elements. But before I do that, let's rotate this a little bit, just like this. And you can see how nice it works when you just rotate things a little bit, and it will just give you a nice edge to your environments, just like this, okay? There you go. There you go, something like that. Beautiful. Okay, now we have more verticality in our environment. Feels a little bit better. So I have in Bridge some wooden assets. You can find a lot. Like I have this wooden being, wooden pallet, and wooden whatever. And I have a lot of them. And what I did was just to bring them and drag them like this. Okay. So what we're gonna do here, and I already have them here, we're going to create an asset that we can reuse uh, in the future multiple times. So we are going to create a wooden platform. It's going to be very easy. We're just going to maybe grab this, okay? We're going to duplicate this. We're going to scale it a little bit. And we're going to play from here to check the scale. Like this one should be a little bit bigger. So let's scale this. Let's put it in global. There you go. Just like that. Okay. Let's try it again. Play from here. Okay, this looks like a nice size. So we can just a tiny bit more. And what we're gonna do is just to create a small platform or player could walk in. So let's just rotate this a little bit and then rotate this again. Okay, just like that. Rotate. We can also use like this ones if you want. For example, like something like this. There you go. And you can scale this in different directions if you want. And also, like this one could be like this, and this one can put it something like this. Now, if you want to make this a little bit more interesting, we can change the pattern. And by the pattern, I mean we can change the direction of these meshes. So when you're creating something in the game, everything has a pattern. In this case, the pattern is something like this, or it's just something like this. But what if we change this a tiny bit, something like this, right? And so instead of making everything straight, we have something like this, where not everything is straight, and we have some variation. This will make our environment much more interesting. So we're gonna do that now. We're gonna put here, rotate a little bit, rotate a little bit, move this to, and we can also change the size of this, just like this, okay? Can do something like this, or we can just move this one here and then go here, and of course put this one here we want, and another one here, and we will rotate this. Okay, and looks good enough for me. Like we can rotate them a little bit, just like that. Okay, now this looks much more natural. So the next thing, I'm going to create the base for this. So we're going to duplicate this, rotate. Okay, then we're going to come back here, rotate again, and just put it in position, okay? Just like that. All right. And we can rotate this like 90 degrees or 180. No one will notice it's the same wood. You can see how much we can get using the same asset same asset here, everything's the same asset, but not the same really if you rotate it, okay? So just keep that in mind. Let's check the size of this. So if I walk here, looks like the size is fair enough. Be careful to step into this thing, okay? And that's it. This is our first asset, okay? So what we're going to do is to make this a single asset. So we're going to select all of this, okay? Select all of this, okay? Duplicate it, okay? So we don't really want to lose our meshes here. So we're going to modeling, and we're going to use mesh merge. If you want to know about more about the modeling tools, we have a complete tutorial over 2 hours. It's insane on our YouTube channel. Go free. It's free to watch. Go and learn all what you can do inside Unreal to model new objects. But in this case, I'm just going to show you the mesh merge. We're going to create a new object, okay? And yeah, we're going to delete the input so we don't see these meshes anymore. Append, click accept. And now we have a new mesh. If we double click this, you will see that we have a mesh here. Now, there are a couple of things I need to do. First, I need to type here into search, type complex, and put project default. Okay. I can also add some collision. So I can go to collision and put a box here. So my player can walk into this now. And lastly, I will add nanite support like this, okay? Apply changes, and this will create a nanite mesh, and there you go, okay? So now that I have this, I can rename this. I can press Ctrl B to check where is it. It will create a new folder. And if I want to save this asset, I can create a collection here, and I will type local collection, and I will call it my wooden assets, okay? And here I will go to the one I generate and then just grab it here. You can change the name if you want. For me, it really doesn't matter now, but I will put all of my assets here. All right. So now that we have our wooden planks, it's time to create some kits for us. Okay, well, you can either create one of those or multiple of them if you want. In my case, I only have one. So I will just come back here, duplicate this, and let's start creating some platforms here that I can use, okay? So maybe something like this, okay? And I will just duplicate this and rotate this like 180 or 90 degrees, okay? And we can just put it here, just like that, okay? We can do the same here, like we can put something like this, okay? And you know, that's it. That's your platform, and that's all you need to do actually. And if you want to create this asset, you can just select all of those, duplicate. We're going to create another one. Like you can see how we can actually reuse this. So let's delete this. Okay. And if you want to even create something more complex, and you can just, you know, duplicate this, and let's put it here. Oops. Let's duplicate this and put it here. And now we can actually, maybe we can duplicate this part, something like this, okay? And we can even create like a small platform for us, something like this. Okay, something like that. And even maybe here we could remove this and put this one here, okay? And this ones we can make it taller, just like that, okay? Great. So now we have like different types of assets that you can use. What we're going to do is to create a level instance blueprint. And what is it? It's nothing else than magic that you will see how I can just create variations by just clicking on those, then right click, go to level, and create packed level actor. By default, you don't really need to put the external actors. If you want, you can do it, but for now, put the axis in the center minimum Z, okay? And let's click OK. We will create a new folder here. Let's call this like mass, okay? And here will be called my mass platform A. I don't know. This is my platform A. Click OK. And then go to here. Let's call it a new folder, my blueprints. And let's call this PPP mass platform A. And that's great. Now, we're going to do the same for this. So let's grab all of this. This is already a mesh. And you can see how helpful it is to create our platform mesh, because we don't really need to click all these wooden planks that will drive anyone crazy. So let's just grab this, and then we just go to right click, level, pack level instance actor, do the same thing, click OK. We're gonna click here, and then we will change the name to B, save, and then go to blueprints, save again, and that's it. Now, we can keep creating multiple variations, but first I will show you what you can do. Let's grab this and let's duplicate this. And if you hold Alt, you will duplicate, but also if you hold Shift, you will move the camera with you. So, pretty neat to have. Alt 3 to check the colors so we don't see any lining, or almost there. Okay, we need to go here. There you go. We found our cave. Now we can actually, let's put this lining is actually working. Is it? Okay, it is working. Okay, let's just put it like this for now. Okay, so now what we can do is actually put something like this. We can create platforms, and we can actually put something like this. And you can keep creating here. You can duplicate. Okay, something like that. You can keep creating your platforms. Okay, and you can keep doing that like this here. And then this part, you can put something like this. It's like, oh, this is floating. Like, no worries. Let's just grab one of these rocks here. Like, for example, this one. And just put something like this here. Okay. It's no floating anymore as far as I'm concerned. It is in place. So now we have something we can use. If you want to make adjustments for this, it's very easy. You can just go to level, go to edit, and you will see that everything turns gray. I can just, for example, I can just move this a little bit, or I can just rotate this around if I want it. If I want to make it a little bit more natural, I can even do something like this, for example. Okay, there you go. And now I can even go to edit here, go to modeling, okay, and then go to triangle selection. And here in my selection mode, I will put, instead of brush, I will put all connected, and I will just click on this one, and you will see that I click on all my meshes. If I want, I can just delete it. I can click accept, and you will see that all my meshes are actually updating here. Now, I don't really want that, so let's just Control C. it was just to show you what you can do. And then right click, label, commit, and now all our meshes here are changed. Now, the next thing we're going to do is to decorate our environment a little bit. So let's do that next. So now we're just going to move the platforms and, try to create something interesting out of this. So let's just copy here and let's just maybe just move it here. Yeah, there you go. I think this can be a nice shot. Maybe, I guess. Yeah, something like this could be a nice shot, like here, just like that. I'm going to save it by Control-3. Okay, so next I'm just going to grab all this, and I can just put it in position here. I can just start using this, like try to have some scaffolding. I will just rotate this around. Okay, and I can just maybe put it here. I don't know if that makes sense, but okay. Maybe something like this. Yeah, maybe something like this could work. Okay, and whenever you feel like, oh, this thing is floating, you say no, you're not, and you just duplicate this. Okay, and just duplicate again here, rotate it so no one will notice, like this path is blocked, and I can even just scale it like this. Okay, so something like that. When you add this kind of props are called kits or modules. Okay, the kits are meant to be procedural, or sorry, modular, which mean they repeat over and over and over again. So to break the modularity, you need to add some props, like for example some barrels here, some props here, some other breaks that can help your scene look much better. So in order to add props, it's very easy. You can just come here and let's just search for a barrel. Let's just try to look for it. I don't know if I have it around here. I should. Okay. Okay. Please, there you go. Okay, so we can just grab this. Only high quality, you don't need to go nanite. You can just put it here. Okay. And just like that, we have our barrel hill. And what we can do is basically duplicate this around, rotate it, scale it up and down, and basically create like different groups. For example, here I can just do something like this. Okay. Another thing I can do is to grab one of my meshes here, for example, this one and this one. Okay, and I can just copy, move around, keep moving around. Okay, and try to put it in a position where it will make things more interesting. For example, this part I can put it here, for example, like we have something here. Usually this kind of thing will be very useful for things like putting some candles to illuminate the environment. And this kind of thing, well, it's basically just to put some stuff here, like, like this kind of stuff. Okay, basically group them a little bit. Okay, so what you can do actually is group those by Ctrl-G and just rotate them around and just play with them. And just like we did before, as we duplicate stuff, we won't be able to notice the difference. So we can just put another one here, and we can just alt click and shift, and we can put another one here. Okay, just like that. And we can always remove the group and maybe delete this and this one. We can just put it here. Okay, just like that. And then rotate around like this thing is kind of like this. Okay, and here we can do the same here, like duplicate, put it here. Okay, just like that. And we can of course rotate this around. This one we can put here and here if we want, and we can even add more assets. For example, let's just say I want something like this, which I already have. This should be around here. Let's go to our mind. Let's type mind here. Okay, to 3D assets, just go to static mesh, and this one, like for example, we can put something like this. Okay, maybe here. Okay, and let's go back here. Oh, we also have some wood assets. That's beautiful. We can put the same here. Great. What else we have? You can see how nice it can be when you use add like assets. So this one is like the high polygon. Okay. What about this one? Oh, this is a low polygon. I don't want you. Oh, we want this one. We want this guy. Okay, this adds a lot of color to your environment, because if you take a look at this asset, like it looks like this. Look at this color. Like it really pops out. So we can try to put it more often, like here. We can put something like this. We can move this around like this. We can just put it here. Okay, just like that. We can put it like this. Great. What else we have? Let's see this one. Okay. So this one can be put here. Another thing you want to put is the wooden, all this bridge here. We can just drag it out. Let's just put the nanite version, which we already have, I think. And we can just put this one here, for example. And let's go Control B, and we can just keep dragging those. For example, this one. Let's put the snap button here. So let's just grab again here, just like that, and then grab another one here. And with the snap button, these assets will snap perfectly. So for example, I can just go here and I can just put it in position. There you go. Okay, and I can do the same here. I can just duplicate this one. And I think I can have another variation here, which is this one. Okay, can just put it here and try to snap it. Let's press Alt 3. There you go, perfectly snapped. Let's put this one here, and this one we can duplicate it again. We can maybe put it here if we want it. Okay, and just like that, we can have like a railing here that is, kind of working. Let's hide this. Okay. Okay, just like this, and we can even rotate this around. Let's rotate by putting the snap button here, and then move it around. We can even rotate it if we want it. Let's see if it works. Maybe something like this. And what we can do is to actually make this one just not like this, just a tiny bit. It's just like that. So here we can just come back and do something like this. And because we're in local here, we can just go ahead and just put it again here. There you go. Now we have something going on in our mind. And the next thing we can do is just to put some elements like this, like the vertical wooden planks here. For example, something like this. Verticality will add a lot to your elements, so don't be afraid to play with it. Something like this can you can rotate it. Nobody wants to see the same asset over and over. And here you can just rotate it like this. Okay, and we can put some cloud here, but I don't really feel like I want to do that. So we just go and grab here. Let's just move this around. Okay, great. Just like that. Now, the next thing we're going to do is to fix the directionality of our elements so we can take a look at our focal point. So let's do that now. So let's fix the directionality. All our meshes need to have some kind of flow that projects into this area. In this case, we're having something like this path is going here, okay, and this path is kind of like going here, okay. So we're gonna fix that little by little. So the first thing I want to do maybe is to put a little bit more assets here. Remember we talked about the zigzag thing. We can do the same here by adding this asset here and then putting it here, okay, something like that. And we can even group assets. These assets by themselves, they don't really work that well. So what you can do is to actually put them here, just like that, okay, and actually create some groups. So it's not like this one is alone, like you have other assets that are around it. So just like this, we can just put something like this, okay, just like that. There you go. Now this feels much more natural than just a couple of assets here floating. So we're just going to do the same here. And we're going to fill this area that looks a little bit empty. So here, what I'm doing here, I'm rotating and I'm checking the light. So basically, if you check our light, you will see that in this area here, it has some light, and in this area has some shadow. However, if I rotate this, everything is shadow, and I lose the interesting part of it. So I can just put something like this, okay, and I can just put it here. I can move things around, just like this, okay, and I can do the same for this one. And actually, it's much better to see it in the detail lining mode so that you can have an idea of, you know, the lines that you are creating here. So here we're going to put another stick here. And I'm sorry if this tutorial is getting a little bit longer, but actually it is very, very, very important here. Okay, so you can put something like this, like that, okay? You can put something like that, and here you can actually make it stick together. It's like this, okay? And this one is blocking my view, so I'm not going to use it here. I'm going to use it maybe here. Okay, that's much better. I don't want to block the area here. And here what I will do is to put some assets here in the ground. Just like this, okay? I can just make this one bigger if I want it. Just like that, okay? And just rotate this. Just like that, okay? Okay, so and another one here, maybe a couple of barrels here next to this thing. Okay, can just duplicate it, make it a little bit bigger. Okay, and here I can just rotate a little bit, and this one too. Okay, now this feels much better. We're going here and here, and then this area maybe we can put some rocks here. So let's grab one of this, or maybe it would be better to grab something like this. Okay, which we created before. We can just put it here and rotate it just like that. Let's try to play with it, with the position of this. Okay, something like that. And or we can, it's no all, just put it like here, like this, and then we're going to go to our rocks here, maybe this one. We're just going to play with it here, just like this. Okay, there you go. Great. Now we can try to put the entrance. So I believe I have like a modular thing here, like, there you go, modular mine kit. So if I just drag this, you'll see that I have my modular mine that's going on here. So what I can do here is to actually put both of them, just like that, okay? And let's try to create the entrance. I can just put it here. And this part, of course, we will duplicate this and put it like this in position. Just like that. There you go. So this part, let's actually see it with lights. So we can just put it here. You know what? Never mind. Let's just Control Z. Let's just not put the entrance. I mean, it would be like a nice framing here, but we don't really prepare the space for this. Let's just put this thing here. And look, what happened to our textures is that our texture streaming is actually getting harmed. So it's okay. We will deal with that in the future. But for now, let's just keep it like this. Just put some rocks here. Okay, great. Let's see what else we have. We can try to drag this one to blend the environment. So these assets are great, like to blend small assets. Like you can put it here, just like this. Okay. Now you can do the same here, and you can do the same here. You can just put it like this. There you go. Do the same here. Yeah, just like that. Be careful. You don't want to show any seams. And this one we can just put it like this. And of course, this one we can just rotate it just like that. Okay. And we want to put more smaller elements around this. Just like this. Rotate around. Make sure it's not floating. Yeah, just like that. Can do the same here. Actually, it's really great to be able to, you know, just see everything without color. It makes everything just more clear here. For example, something like this. And now by adding those smaller elements, we're just getting everything nicer. We can add this row, for example, here. We can maybe put it here. Okay. And we can scale it and put it in position. Although we don't have any rope in our environment, but it's okay. Rotate this a little bit. There you go. It doesn't need to be exact, but it will help for the set dressing of our environment. So let's just can even put this one here, like it fall down like that. Okay, and you can just put it here. Rotate it a little bit. Be a little bit patient for this kind of things. Okay, actually, not here. Let's just reset the rotation and let's just put it here. Okay, there you go. Perfect. And here we will also make it this one a little bit bigger. Notice that everything turned blur. That's about because my texture resolution, it's getting really, really heavy with all these assets here. But it's helping a lot actually. Like by putting assets in our environment, you can see that it's actually working really nicely. Like you can rotate this around and everything, and you can have a nice environment, which we're kind of having here. Okay, so let's adding some other elements. When you don't find what you want here, it's time to go to other secret websites to get our assets. So let's do that now. One pixel is not enough. We just go to Sketchfab. And Sketchfab is a really nice website where you can find all sorts of 3D models, and some of them you can download. So for example, I can find something like crystal here, and some of them will all be able to view, and some of them you can download. For example, I want to download this one. I can just click here into download the original format, and there you go. As you can see, I already downloaded. Okay, and that's it. Now you have it. I want to import a bunch of crystals here. So what I will do is maybe this one I will download. Okay, download here. I already download. I won't download it again. Hard drive is suffering a lot these days with Unreal Engine 5, and also there is concrete junk. You can feel free to just basically download anything you want. So for my case, I'm going to import the asset I just import. So we just go to here, new folder. Let's just call it the scan assets. Okay, and then import here. And here is the strange crystal I just download. I just need to unzip it. So let's use source, import this, import textures. Yeah, you can create a material if you want. Do not build nanite yet. Okay, so import, and there you go. Ignore this for now. The material went without the texture, so if we drag this here, you will notice that this crystal is very small. If we play from here, you will be able to see that our crystal is extremely small. And we can change this by just scaling this up. Go to our modeling tools, go back to transform, bake rotation and scale, and notice here that my scale is 3.9. If I click this and I accept, now my original scale will be 1, which is what we want, because now we will build nanite. Now, this is very important, because if your mesh is too small, nanite won't work really well. So now this material that we created came like this. We don't really want that, so we're going to import some textures here. If we go to our folder, you will have two folders, source and textures. Textures will come with all the textures necessary for your crystal. So just go here. In the roughness, we will go here, compression settings, put this to grayscale, okay, and sRGB off, okay, that's one. Opacity, we will do the same. We can just put mask here, and this will take care of it. Okay, so now that we have this, we can just drag all of those into our material here, just like this. We can delete this, we don't really want it. So this is the base color, it goes here. If you want more information about materials and how you can create yours, we have a complete tutorial on how to create materials, over 1 hour for free in our YouTube channel, so make sure to check it out. Okay, so the roughness goes here, and the opacity, we will leave it like that for now. Okay, now this looks like a pretty messed up texture if you ask me, but we can't complain because it's free and it actually looks good. Let's see how it will look with our texture. Okay, not bad actually, not bad. We just need some tweaks, but for now what we can do is to import the rest of our meshes here. So I won't leave you alone. I will just import here, and let's go back to our texture wood. I guess it's this one, okay. And we can create materials, import textures. We won't build a nanite for now, just import. Okay, let's wait a little bit. This one is a little bit heavier, so be a little bit patient with this. Wait, slumber. And while it imports, I already download this. There is concrete junk. Make sure to right click, extract here. Okay, I cannot really feel. This one will be very heavy. So let's come back here again. There is concrete. Where are you? Extract. Ah, there you go. Okay, so this is the source. Extract again. Some of them have like extraction of extraction. It's like, oh my god. Okay, there you go. So now that you are here, go to our content browser. This is our waste lumber. Take a look at this. Now now you're talking. So the first thing I want to do is to scale this down like this. Okay. So if we play from here, this looks like a nice scale. So we're going to do that. We're going to go to modeling, go to our bake transform, accept. Okay. And just wait a little bit. And the next thing you're gonna do is to activate the nanite mesh for this one, which we will do here. Enable nanite support, light meshes, and that's it. Beautiful. And now we have our mesh turned into nanite. Okay, let's just wait a little bit. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'll tell you, I'm a mesh. So let's go here to check what's going on. So it looks like we have a lot of things going on here. We can just we can ignore the normal actually. Let's see if it does come with a normal map. So let's just import this. Okay, let's just put the normal there. Okay, and all of this turn into a normal map. Okay. So here in the UV1, I'm going to grab my U1B1 and put it here. We'll just put it here in the roughness. And in the roughness, we're just going to here, multiply, go back here. And let's just put it, sorry, this one goes to normal. And this one can put like 1.3. Okay. And 2, I don't know. Let's just start previewing the node. Okay, so we can just we can always add something here. Add 0.2, 0.1. There you go. And then when you multiply it, it's okay. I think it won't be so shiny. I don't know why it's so shiny, but let's apply it. Okay. So let's take a look at what it looks like. Okay. There you go. So we're gonna do the same for this and this. So very quickly, just wrap the material, put it here, put it here again, multiply, add 0.2. Okay, multiply by 2, I guess. Then we can clamp this so that our values won't be higher than 1. Okay, so let's just put something like 0. Max 1 and 0.5. I don't know. That's better. We can copy this if we want. Okay, so the next thing is go to our latest material. We can paste, copy the roughness, and then go back here and put this one here. Okay, and that's it. Actually, this will make our assets ready to use in our game. Okay, we will make this one a little bit better later, but for now let's start from that. On my side, I will import the debris and do the same for the next asset. If you don't want me to leave you alone, let me know in the comments. Oh, I don't want you to leave me alone. I can't do this by myself, and I will know the next time. Otherwise, I will feel like this is the right choice because it takes a lot of time. Okay, so I will come back with a new asset. Okay, so now that we have our scans, it's time for us to put our crystals here. Now, if you don't know where it is, I will show you another way you can find your asset just by pressing Ctrl P. I can type crystal, just like this, and I can just drag it here. Okay, and just like that, I can have my crystal here, and I can just play with it. Like, let's remove the snapping here. I can just play with some options, and I can just duplicate this, and I will start from big to small. Okay, something like this. Now this really will make your scene look have a little bit of more personality actually. So let's just make it smaller, just like this. Okay, or maybe you can put it like this, but also rotate a little bit. There you go. Just something like this. Be rotated. Okay, maybe not too big. You don't want to be the center of the attention. So let's put it back here. Let's put it in position here. And environments usually take a long time, so be aware of that. I wish I could make like a smaller tutorial, but I wouldn't be showing you all the steps behind creating the environment, and that's not what this is about. This is about showing you the fundamentals of creating environments. And by putting some assets like this, we are adding another element to our scene, which is basically another material. So you have rocks, you have wood or man-made elements, and then you also have crystals like this one. Okay, so the crystals will make a third element in your scene, which will really make it pop up a lot. So just like that, we can just duplicate it, put it like this. Okay, something like that. And of course, we can always come back here and put it in the background if we want, something like that. And also we can put a little bit more here in this area. We can just start putting the smaller ones. Now, the question you may ask is, how do I decide where to put the assets? Well, this is not a science, but actually what you need to be aware of is that your scene looks a little bit balanced. Okay, so one is you want to put smaller assets next to the big ones. Okay, for example, here we have some big assets. I can just put some smaller ones here, just like this. Okay, just like that. And I can also rotate and look at look at here. I can just rotate this one, and I feel like this area has a lot of noise because this is just going too much. So I can just come here and just put it there. Okay, and I can also put it like this. Remember our zigzag option? We can do the same here. We can go here to look, and finally go here. Can do the same. And we can also try some crazy things, such as this one. We can put it here. There you go. Something like that. It's at the top. And we can also rotate it. Let's rotate by local angles, just like this. Okay, and this is how you can make your scene a little bit more interesting by adding a third element. Now, this crystal doesn't really stand out that much, and the reason is the material not really shining. It's just a white material, and we don't really want that, so we're going to play with the material a little bit. Okay, but for now, what you want to do is to just place them here where you want to show the crystals. Example like this. You can always rotate it, something like this. Okay, and try to put it here so that you can see the silhouette of your crystals happening here from different angles. Okay, so if I just put it here, my silhouette will have the crystal here. Okay, just like this. But if I rotate this like here, I lose the silhouette and makes my scene much less interesting. So just I'm gonna put a bunch of them, just a little bit here and there. And after we have this, we're going to work on the material of this, because this color is very white and our scene is actually a little bit monochromatic. Like, it can be a little bit better. So we're going to try to go for a little bit of a colorful look for this one. And here we can try to play with the size and put it here, just a little bit here and there. And for example, especially like in this area, you don't want to block everything. You just want to put some things here and there. Also here a little bit, you can rotate things around, and also here you can just rotate and also change the size of this. You can always put smaller and smaller assets as you continue to add more assets, because the idea is to have big, medium, and small elements in your scene so that it can come out as, something more believable. It's a very old trick in game development where you basically in art you need to put smaller elements and big elements in your scene so that your scene can look better and have a sense of proportion. Otherwise, everything will look big and nothing will stand up. That's why we're putting these smaller elements. If we don't put these small elements, then it will be very hard for us to distinguish the size of our objects, and therefore this is the small difference that it makes a difference. I feel that's enough for me. I'm gonna put a little bit more here just because I want some smaller ones here and there, especially like in this area. Maybe here I want a little bit more. For example, like here, I can just rotate this and I just put it here, just like that. There you go, something like this. Now we have our crystals. Now it's time to color these crystals. Now we have our crystals. However, we need a different color so that our crystal can look nicer. So if you want to modify the material, go to the static mesh editor here and double click on the material. And this is what we had before. So what I want to do now is to basically change the properties like the roughness and the metallic. So let's start with the roughness. The roughness will use this mask, roughness, okay? And then I will multiply it by holding M, drag this in, press 1, and right click here and convert to roughness. Well, convert to parameter, and we will call it roughness. 1 by default, click here, and then you can just connect this to the roughness, okay? So let's apply here, and let's see what happens. So nothing looks like it happened, and that's because we haven't really changed the roughness yet. So what we need to do is to create a material instance for our crystal. So right click here, create material instance, and we will call it mi crystal, just like that, okay? So now that we have this, we can just come back to our crystal here, double click, and we will type crystal in the material, and now we will choose our material instance. And yet nothing will happen, and that is because we haven't modified the values. So if I double click my material instance here I just created, you will see that I have a parameter here called the roughness. And what I can do is I can reduce the value like this, something like 0.5 or 0.2, and everything will start becoming more reflective. If you want to take a look, closer look, just zoom in. If I put 1, you will see that it's not very reflective. If I put 0, everything is much more shiny. Okay, so let's put something like 0.2, for example. And now what I want to do is to change the metallic. So let's move this here. Let's close this. We don't really need this. And now we will put the metallic here. And the metallic we derive from this one, from the base color. And I will hold Alt, and this will create a lerp. I will create the red channel here. And what this will do is create a grayscale mask. Okay, this looks good enough to me. So I will just connect this to the metallic output. Click apply. And now we will see that our crystals are actually more shiny, which is great. This is what we want. Okay. Now, we want to add some color to this. So one way to do it is to multiply the color, but what I actually want is to put different colors. So I will drag the same mask here, and I will put a lerp. I will hold L, and then I will type this here. Okay, and then by holding V, I will create a parameter. This will be my color 1. Okay, Control C, Control V, and this will be my color 2. Just like that, we can just connect these two, and now we can connect this to the base color. Okay. Press apply, and now we will go to our material instance, and everything should be black. But now if I change this, for example, I want to change the color 1, it will change one part. If I change the color 2, everything will change. Okay, so let's put something like, you can really try any color. For example, we can try something like this, like reddish, or something like green. How to decide what type of color you want to use? I will show you now. If you go here to lead, go to buffer, and go to base color, you can sample this color here. Sample here. And you will see that we're using this range of colors, okay? This part. If you want to have a nice composition, you want to balance your scene. If you use this color, these two colors are opposites, which means our scene will look heavier. But if we use these colors, the neighbors, our scene will blend better. So it really depends on how many crystals you have. Like if you have one that looks like blue, it will stand out compared to the other ones. Okay, so let's try that now. Let's put here and put the color like blue, just like this. Okay, this is one type of blue, and we will put another type of blue. And you will see that our scene is really breaking. This is too much. So what we can do is actually come back here, and maybe some neighbor colors, such as this one. Maybe the purple one can work. And let's come back here, and maybe something like this, just like that. Okay, great. So now we have different colors, and it's actually more balanced. Okay, you can try different colors if you want. For example, you can try this one, like the yellow one. The idea is to try the neighbor colors and see if you find something that actually works for you. Now, you can feel that our scene is flooded with colors now, and that's great. But what we actually want to do is to balance our scene. If we come here, you see that we have these colors everywhere, and these colors are very heavy. It's like creating a balance here like this. It's like you want to balance one color and another, as like maybe something like this. And maybe this one is too heavy and it's like this, okay? Because this green is too much color, and the other colors are, very neutral. So what you need to do is to balance it out. How you can do it? You can just hide some of those. For example, something like this, and instantly the eye feels a little bit better. So I feel like if I delete this and then I also delete this, I will feel like my scene is working much better. In the left, I have more, saturated colors, and in the right, I don't have much, which make it much more balanced. Okay, so Let me play with the colors a little bit. So let's come back here and let's try something like this, actually. Like maybe like this, and then maybe something like this. And you can see that our scene is blending much more. Either way, like you don't really want to go full, just try to pick a color, okay? And then, just stick with it, and you can always change it if you want. So I feel like the yellow one works pretty well, okay? Something like the greenish. This is a little bit too much. Although actually this can work. This could work, okay? This blue with this yellow actually is working quite well. You don't want blue with blue. You can have something like this, okay? This yellow actually feels really nice. How do you know if your color feels really nice? You just feel it. Like you watch it and you feel, I really like what I'm seeing, and you just trust this feeling. So now that we have this, now we have our colors working to our advantage. One thing I want to do is to multiply this with this RGB here, control. So that way we have the texture happening also. So let's see how it looks like if we multiply it. It should look a little bit more realistic. Okay, it's a little bit darker, but depends on what kind of look you want. Okay, so I feel like I don't really need this, so I will just right click here and connect to the base color and delete this one. I feel like the previous one was working quite good. We don't really need it. So now what we can do is to do a final set dressing for our environment, and then we're going to work on the lighting. So now that we have our crystal in place, it's time to set dress the scene as our final tweak. So we will come back here and fix some things, like move this part around, and this area, like we can just put this rock here, okay? And if nobody noticed, like it's okay. And just put it like this, just like that, and then we can just put this one here. There you go. And of course, you can always rotate it to make it look a little bit more real. Now, I will show you something great. If you go to Bridge, I will go to my favorite ones, okay? My favorite 3D assets are here. Now, usually it takes a lot of time to download these assets, but you can actually use drag from Bridge here. For example, this one I haven't downloaded. I will download the high quality for now because I don't feel like I need the nanite for this, but I can just go here and then click on the map and just put it in position. For example, here. And just like that, just like when I start dragging, you will see that if I check the wireframe with Alt 2, the wireframe is extremely low detail. This is low quality asset, but it does start like that because as it continues to download, it will update and I will have a high quality asset. Now I can continue to do this. Like for example, I can just come back here and let's look for something else. For example, let's drag a sort and let's just put it here and let's just make it really big. Okay, this is our focal point. Our time to shine has come, where we will put the sort here and will be very magical moment. So it's like the giant sword going here. There you go. I don't know how to feel about that, but now that we put this in place, our asset already download and is actually very high quality. This is a high quality version. It's not the nanite one. I don't want to download the nanite for this, but I can continue to do these things. For example, I can put a candle here. I can just put it like here, for example. This is where I will put the candle, and I can just put it in position here, for example, something like this. And if the camera goes too fast, you can change this to 3. Here the camera speed, and just maybe put it in position, and this is where the candle will be, and this is where our lights will be, maybe, who knows. Okay, and you can see that it will download as I continue, so I don't really need to wait for anything here. I can just come back here, and you can see that there was a campfire here that no one is using anymore. It will download eventually. I don't need to take care of it, and I can do the same for this. For example, I can put some assets here, and I can just rotate this around, put it in position. Okay, I can do the same here. Just like that. You can see how it's doing all the work on the background. I don't need to take care of everything. Okay, so let's focus on one shot. Maybe this shot here will be really nice. So let's come here and let's duplicate it. And let's put it in position, just like here. Press End to snap it to the grid. And we can start putting this here, for example. Can put a barrel here. Okay, just like that. Let's see what else we have. Rocks, full of rocks actually. Maybe this one. I'm not entirely sure about that. But maybe a campfire. Oh, this one could be a really nice one actually. Like if we change the colors here, let's drag the 981. Let's not be too cheap with this one. Okay, so we already grabbed this one, and we can try to put it here. Let's increase the size, of course, something like 15 or 35. Okay, there you go. And we will try to blend the colors of this one with the environment. Okay, so let's try to put something like 50. Great, something like that. Great. So it will eventually download, and we will take care of this. So we will come back here and do the same here, but this time we're just doing it here. It's like it's blending with the environment like this. This part you don't really need to worry about, because if you don't see it, you don't need to take care of it. So let's just rotate here. Okay, just like that. Actually, it looks really nice. The only problem is that this color is not matching, but it will eventually. Let's just wait for it to finish download. Another thing we have is the stone rubble. This is extremely nice. So let's just grab this one and we will put it here. Okay, we will start putting it here in the stones, just like that. So we can have some nice assets blending with our rocks here, just like that. Okay, so we can start putting it here, for example, like that. Okay, and rotate a little bit. Okay, let's try to put more assets here. And remember that all our assets are downloading in the background. You don't really need to, you know, sacrifice everything. Now, this really doesn't match this part, so let's try to look for something more green. Let's put like maybe this one. This one looks like a nice one. So yeah, we can try, but let's just go back here and we will start downloading. And let's see how it looks like once we have the material. Okay, not bad actually, not bad. We can just come back here a little bit of moss here and there. Okay, and also here in this area, I believe we can put more love to this area, which is like the beginning of our environment, just like this. Okay, there you go. Great. So let's see a couple of more assets that we could use. maybe we could try to use this one or this one. Or let's try to look for some props. Let's put historical and 3D assets. And here you will see that I have a lot of things happening here. Let's try to look for some, not some wood actually. Old tomb, classic old tomb. Someone died here. Very classic. Now notice that I'm trying to put the things like, this is the fun part of it, where we don't really want to put things all over the place because it will be like it has a lot of noise. So we want to blend it a little bit. We have some here, we have some here, we have some here, and some areas are just a little bit flat. That's okay. Okay, you don't really need to put everything everywhere. Okay, so let's look for one more. Maybe this barrel. Put a high quality here. Okay, something like this, and we can even make it bigger, and maybe we can do the same here at the bottom here, just like this. Okay, another thing I want to do is to put this one here, maybe just like that. Okay, I don't know how this will hold up without the rope, but let's just put it here, just like that. And this will help us to block the view when we have, when we have a shot. This will serve as a line here that will help the player check, hey, check here, but actually you cannot go here. Okay, this is blocked. You go back to see here. Now I'm not really sure if we're gonna like put the sword here, so let's check our old friend here. Great, like this guy is working. Let's just try to change the color. So let's double click here in the material and we will try to match the color here. Let's go to albedo, color tint, and put something like this. Okay, and we can try to play with the lightness, something like that, and this will make the scene blend much better. Save it, and now this will look like it's part of the same stone, and this silhouette is actually working really nice. I wonder how it will look like if I put like something like 75. Actually looks really nice. I kind of like it. So there's one thing I want to put here, perhaps a tree, perhaps something like that grabbed my attention. Let's see what we can put. Okay, let's just leave it like that. Okay, looks like a solid path for doing like our environment here. Let's go back now and try to put some lining here, because we don't really want to use this one, but if we hide it, everything turns very dark, and we don't really want that. So let's go back here and we will add some lining now. Okay, so let's play with the lining a little bit. One thing I want to do is to grab this guy here. Okay, let's just put it in position here, and let's try to put it here in the back. So let's put something like 50. It will be like super big, and let's wait for it. It will download eventually. Maybe not too big, maybe 35. Okay, something like this. Maybe 40. Okay, look at that. Now it will eventually have the nanite version. We will forget about this guy for a minute, but for now, why we want this guy here is because it will add a nice silhouette to our environment. If you take a look at this, you have something like this. Okay, this makes it look much more interesting than, just having something like this. Which, no, it's not bad, but it's, the silhouette can be much more interesting. And just by doing that, we are adding a lot more storytelling to our environment. This will eventually be ready. Do not worry. If we check the downloads, it is downloading. It will finish sooner or later. Okay, so what we will do now is to, oh, it's preparing the meshes, sorry. Lag attacking. Okay, this guy is very big actually. So, what we will do, we will delete this one. We don't really want this. And we will put our sun into place. So let's go to directional light and take a look here. And what we will do is to change here the light shaft. We will open the light shaft occlusion. We want that. And we will put that light shaft bloom. And just like that, you will see that all my light is coming through here like a god ray. Okay, now let's move the light a little bit. We don't really want to make it so extreme. Maybe something like this, something like that maybe. And also the bloom, it can be a little bit smaller, like 0 or 0.05, something like that. Okay, now also the shaft occlusion can be big or small. Remember, if you put the bloom like this, it will destroy it. So let's go back here. What I want to do is to put some lights. Maybe this this can be a little bit fantasy. So these crystals are emitting some light. So what I will do, and because of my light here, it's showing like it's a little bit brighter. We can just go back here, go to basic, go to lights, point light, or we can put one here. And what we can do is to go back to our properties, and we will play with a source radius, something like 15 maybe. Okay, and the soft one with 15. And what we will do is to put a light color like this. Okay, just like that. So that our scene like it's getting lit by these things. Something like that. Okay, there you go. And what we will do is just basically put it here. And we will increase the attenuation radius, just like this, but we will decrease the intensity. Something like 1 or 2. 2 looks like a nice number. Let's increase the attenuation radius. And we can also increase the indirect lighting intensity. If we put something like 50, it will light all the environment, showing the indirect lighting of this one. If we put something like 2, it will be a little bit better. 5. If we put 0, you will see that everything turns black. We don't really want that. So let's put something like 4 or 2. Well, we will change this later. But for now, what we will do is to go from one light to another here. Just like this. What we want to do is to put the lights where our shadows are. Okay, so this is another one. We can just put it here. There you go. One here. We can put another one here. Like that. Okay. Nice. Nice and clean. Now this will create some shadows. Okay. And I can also change the radius and the intensity. For example, I can put something like 3 or 4. Something like that. Let's go back to our directional light. And let's try to place it in a really cool place. For example, something like this. This will lit more of the environment. And let's try to look for the bloom. Let's put something like 0.1 or 0.08. 0.05 is what we had before, I believe. And actually, we can also change the light color of this. We don't really want to put something like this. It will break your environment. You can try to put something bluish like this, something like that. Or you can also play with the temperature here. Use temperature, and we can play with the temperature here. Here is like very blue. Here is like very cold outside. Maybe I want something like this. Now, what I want to add is some fog, and I don't know if I have it, so I will type fog. And there you go, I do have it. So if I come here, I will make sure I have volumetric fog on, and I will play with the fog to see how it affects my environment. So I can play with this fog density, and the second fog data, I can also play with the density here. Okay, I can also play with my albedo here. Scattering distribution, we can play with that, but also play with albedo. Can change the colors a little bit. For me, this things works really nice, so I can just play with extension scale, not too much maybe, something like that. Okay, and also we can try with a sky atmosphere that we had when we created the environment, and try the absorption. It will change the colors. The sky luminance factor, of course, it will also change the colors here. Looks very artistic, I guess. You can play with any settings you want here. And also here, this can also change. This can also change. This can also change. And of course, this one can also change the sky. So make sure to play with this. It has some nice settings that it can make your environment look a little bit better. There you go, something like that. See the previous one? Okay, the previous one doesn't look too bad. Let's go back here. What I want is to put the lining here. And I can just rotate it a little bit if I want. Just like that. Yeah, just like that. Okay. So now that we have our lining, let's try to play with post-processing values. So before we play with the post-processing, let me add another light here. So let's go to lights, point light, and I will put a light around this area, just so that we can see the shadows of the statues we put, because looks like they're not really showing up. And just like that, when you see I just put it, I create some nice shadows, and I really want that, otherwise I just see the silhouette. So what I will do is to increase the radius, something like this. Okay, and also I can't really change the color if I want it, but let's just play with it, something nice. Or like we can just put it white if we want. Now, these point lights are doing a little bit too much green to my taste, so I can just change it. I can just put blue if I want it, and I can just change all of them like this, just like that. Okay, and not too, you don't want too green, you don't want too blue, you just want something light, something nice. Yes, something like this. Okay, you don't want completely white, so just a little bit of blue here to balance our scene. Okay, the next thing is I want to go here and I can increase the attenuation radius, or I can just leave it like that. I feel like it's working really nice, like 5. If I put like 15, it will be very obvious. So I can put like 10. Okay, it's like you don't really know this light is coming from here, so there you go. And also I want to move the directional light a little bit, just like this. Yeah, just like that. And also this one can be rotated. If I can, I should be able to find a nice angle. For now, this looks okay. Now let's go to our post processing. Go to here, go to visual effects. It should be here, or cinematic, or volumes. Yes, volumes, then go to post-process volume. And the first thing is that if we want our post-process to work, we need to make it bigger, okay? But there is also another way. If I go to my properties here and I type unbound, you will check here, and this will help you to apply the post-processing to all your environment. Now, there are a couple of things I like to play with. One is the bloom. I can play with the bloom, so this one can be like a little bit more, how would you say it, like more fantasy, okay? Or you can decrease the bloom at like everything. I'm finding a hard time deciding which one I want. Maybe just a tiny bit. It's a good idea to play with the bloom to basically do any kind of property here, just to change the settings just a tiny bit. You don't want too much, like chromatic aberration, really cool, but you don't want too much. Just like this, just a tiny bit. Okay, camera, not really. Local exposure, maybe this will change. Let's change the detail strength. That's too much, that's too little. Okay, so contrast, we can decrease or increase the contrast if we want. I find that with a piece like this, if we want more contrast, then it will look better if we decrease it. Not really, not that much. Okay, just a tiny bit, just like this. Okay, lens flare, of course, this will apply lens. I don't really want to do that. Pigment intensity, this will help a lot actually. Okay, just like that. Great. And depth of field, we can try to play with the radius. Like for example, we can try the focal distance, the here. Let's try this one, just like this. Okay, 0.1, 0.2, something like that. Okay, and 0.1, 0.05, it will blur more things. 0.0001, it will blur more things. I don't really want that. 0.08, 0.09, yeah, something like that. It can work. So let's leave it like that. Oh, go to here to post-processing, and let's check the temperature. The temperature can actually change a lot the scene compared to the directional light. This will change the whole scene look. Like, it really can affect a lot of things. So let's just try to play with the temperature a little bit. I feel like this can be a little bit hotter. Maybe something like this. Something like this. Not too much. Subtlety is the key for this kind of thing. Saturation, you don't really want to desaturate, but it's a good way to check your composition. If you check it black and white, you will see white values and black values, and you will see if it's interesting or not. So let's go back here. Let's just play with it a little bit, like decrease it if you want to make it more realistic, or if you want to make it more stylized, you can increase the colors. For me, I find that one can work quite well. Contrast, we saw it before. The lower the contrast, the more realistic it will be. So let's put it like 1.8. That's too much, maybe 1.8. Put it 1. Yeah, you know what, I will go for the contrasty look. Maybe not too much, just a tiny bit here. Gamma will actually increase the lightness. So if I do this, everything will be a little bit brighter. So 1 should be good. The next is the film. This one is a little bit important. So if the slope, you can increase the contrast or decrease it if you want. You can just try to play with this a little bit. Okay. You don't want to change the values a lot, just a tiny bit. Global illumination, we will just leave it like that. Okay. And then ambient occlusion, we can increase or decrease. Actually, it doesn't really help that much with lumen. The film grain intensity, we can put a lot, and we can also change like the grain textile size tiny bit, just a little bit here. I find like just having a little bit of this can help. And that's pretty much it. Okay. Let's take a look at our scene in the big screen. So we did a lot of things. We learned how to block our environments. We look into how to create modules for our game, how to set dress, color theory, lines, set dressing, lining, post-processing. we check materials, we check a lot of things actually, and we came up with this. And I believe it's under 2 hours. I'm not exactly sure, but I believe it turned out really nice. The next thing, of course, will be to add some collision to these things. I'm not sure if I will do it, but in any case, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel to see more tutorials, and consider becoming a member to check our premium tutorials so you can have access to all the library. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.